All right, so the first factor that contributes to whether or not your Facebook ads are working or not is copy. So copy, we're talking about the text that you use essentially. So this should look familiar to you where you enter your primary text, the headline, the description, all the words that appear within your ad. So how does copy impact your success? So the copy you use can have a drastic impact on your results. You got to remember the psychology of advertising. We can't ignore it. You can't just post a link with no comments along with it, no description, no call to action, and expect people to be inspired to act. The psychology is important. So now the question is going to be asked, should you use long copy? Should you use short copy? Should you use professional or casual language? Or should you use emojis? Also keep in mind typos, man, they're almost always going to destroy trust and results. You're going to come off as being unprofessional, as sloppy, as lazy, whatever you want it. It's not good. So also, ultimately, you might have a good, well-worded ad, but do they know what they need to do? Can they get everything they need from your ad just by reading it? Or do we need to inspire some sort of action? And how clear is that? So does your copy inspire some sort of response? So how should we approach this? So we talked a minute ago about length of copy and things like that. No, you're going to hear a lot of talk about how your copy has to be a certain length. Just understand there's no one size fits all for length of copy. What I do recommend is to get in the practice of creating short blocks of copy for readability. This may violate some of the things you learned as a student. Depending on when you went to school, you don't need 5 sentences in a paragraph. It might just be a single sentence. But just focus on readability and use the amount of copy that you need in order to tell whatever story it is you're trying to tell within this ad. So also determine how it is your audience talks. So when we discussed, the type of language we use and whether we use emojis, should it be a more casual or professional approach, or whether or not, typos are even acceptable, well, you have to understand who your audience is first. That said, always proofread your copy before you publish. There's nothing worse than publishing an ad and then in the comments reading about your typo. Oh, that's just painful. And it's usually going to kill the performance of your ad. You might get a lot of engagement, but it's going to be a whole bunch of people who completely ignore what the ad is and focus on that typo. Always have a clear call to action, preferably near the top. So in other words, you may have a lot of copy that they need to read more, click to read more to get to the bottom of. You don't want to bury that call to action at the very bottom when they may not even see that. All right, so you at least have a secondary call to action at the top. But whether or not it needs to be short or long copy or professional, casual, or what words you use, doing some sort of split testing is always helpful to find what is your best performing copy. So you may have seen this. You got this multiple text options. There are various ways you can split test. We're not going to go through all that right now. But what you can do is you can submit to Facebook, okay, like, well, I'm not really sure the best approach for primary text or the best headline or the best link description. We've got these multiple text options, so you enter in up to 5 for each one, and Facebook will try it out. And they'll try different combinations and see what works best for you. So that's a good way if you ever have questions about what kind of copy is best to use.